Okay.
So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. This is Mohi, the technical support for this workshop, Sustainable Energy Skills in Construction Sector. We will try to be on time and start at the moment, but then obviously we'll have, like, our audiences hopefully will grow soon. To you, Agnieszka.
Okay, thank you very much, Mohi. So from my side, also good afternoon to everybody. I would like to warmly welcome Luca Angelino, who is with us, kindly agreed to participate in our workshop, and he's representing EASME. And also welcome to all the speakers that also agreed to take part and agreed to share the information about the project and the activities they will be implementing and are implementing, or have been already implemented, as some projects have finished. And also, of course, a warm welcome to all the participants that are listening, and hopefully we will have a fruitful discussion today and also after the workshop, because the idea, of course, of this workshop is to get to know each other and to start networking more intensively also after this workshop. So over to you, Luca, without any further delay, as our agenda is very, very tight.
Thank you, Agnieszka. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the European Commission and EASME, the Executive Agency for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, I would like to thank the organizers for this invitation, the invitation to this event. It's a real pleasure to see so many projects funded by the European Union under the Horizon 2020 program exchange their plans, their lessons learned. Ideally, we really look forward to seeing how these projects can cooperate and mutually reinforce each other. I have prepared a very short presentation, 3 slides, aiming to present the overview of the support by the European Union under the Horizon 2020 program, focusing on skills. To start with some policy background, as you may be aware, the reinforcement and boosting of skills and energy efficiency in buildings have been a priority for the European Union for several years now. And in this context, really, we have a very well established policy framework. You see a number of directives in place, starting with the EPB revised in 2018. I'm mentioning now precisely the importance of skills and education in the construction sector in Article 2A on the long-term renovation strategies. We also have a revised energy efficiency directive, as well as a renewable energy directive. This directive in particular also emphasizes the importance of measures to ensure the increase of renewable heating and cooling, and also within this sector, the importance of qualified installers. If this was a priority before, this is even now the case following the launch of the renovation wave strategy, which was published by the European Commission the last 14th of October, and already presented by some colleagues from DG Energy at the beginning of this conference. Among other things, this new renovation wave strategy underlines a few elements. For example, that the transformation towards a climate neutral building stock will only take place if existing jobs are transformed, so to include green and circular skills, and if new job profiles also emerge, such as specialists in deep building renovation, installers for advanced technological solutions, or building information modeling managers. Only well-informed professionals can play their potentially key role in offering end users with the latest available technical opportunities for resource and energy efficiency. Another element emerging from this communication is to boost know-how and the worker skills in the renovation sector, the Commission will be working with the member states through the skills agenda and the upcoming Pact for Skills, and through cohesion policy funds and the Just Transition Fund to finance training and retraining of workers together with social partners. The renovation wave also highlights the key support already provided by the Build Up Skills initiative that will continue, by the way, under the LIFE program in the next multi-annual financial framework. Here you have a number of calls dedicated to stimulating demand for sustainable energy skills in the construction or building sector over the last years, in including a few projects, some of which we will learn more about, which have recently started. And we are currently evaluating now a number of proposals. So we expect more projects to come online around May 2021. But overall, the main message is to address the skills gap in the construction sector. The European Commission has financed more than 70 projects so far under both Energy Europe and the Horizon 2020 programs, with a total budget amounting to about 45 million euros. This slide depicts, say, the evolution of the Build Up Skills initiative under the Intelligent Energy Europe and Horizon 2020. Some of the messages are that the first phase is really focused on analyzing the status quo and provided, therefore, a large and unique skill gap analysis, which was missing at the time, contributed to the elaboration of national roadmaps of high quality with concrete suggestions at national level. And it also brought together key stakeholders endorsing those roadmaps, which was a key achievement at the time. In the second phase, there was the initiation of projects implementing at the national level based on phase one, so the roadmaps, developing or upgrading existing qualifications, training schemes, and developing tools for the recognition of skilled professionals. We're talking here about certification, labeling, databases, so on and so forth. During this phase, more than 8,000 workers have been trained, and this phase also saw more than 800 training courses developed. The targeted skills included building fabric, building services, energy, and building management. In the third phase, under the Horizon 2020, we have mostly financed multi-country projects. So more countries were involved in our projects, emphasizing the need to improve digital skills, and with a focus now not only on the supply side, but also on boosting the demand for skills. The objective within this phase will be to train and qualify more than 25,000 professionals in Europe. For the next slide, I would like just to mention what also the Commission and EASMA has been doing over the last years in the framework of bringing together projects and facilitating the exchange of lessons learned and experience among project coordinators and partners. We have had so far 11 meetings since 2011 with the idea to really facilitate peer collaboration. And we have a number of technical working groups, and I'm very pleased to announce or confirm that the next meeting will take place online on the 9th and 10th of December, and you see here, and we will be happy to share shortly also the invitation to this meeting. Without further ado, I would like just to thank again, and I look forward to listening to the new to this exchange among projects, and I'm really confident that this will really help exchanging information with the ultimate goal to deliver on enhancing skills in the construction sector, so to have a smoother pathway towards a decarbonized building stock by mid-century. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the discussion today.
Thank you very much, Luca, for the presentation, for the policy background, and we are also glad that so much is happening around the education and training, and especially that we, all the projects, would be able then to contribute to this lessons learned and exchange of practices within our projects. Okay, so now going to the project that will present themselves. Before we do it, we would launch one poll just as to start as then the discussion. Mohi, could you launch the first poll? The first poll is about what do you expect to get out of this meeting? So please take a few seconds and mark the relevant answer. And in a few moments we will see the answer. So of course this is our first meeting between the projects, because as I've mentioned, the projects have just started, the new ones. So we are starting to get to know each other, but of course there are many things that we could do together. So Mohi, if you could just show the results. Okay, so the results are very widespread. So you would like to, so the majority votes would like to get to know the project, which is generally the idea of this workshop, and identify possible complementaries and synergies, and also to gather contacts so we can further on discuss issues and the task that we will be managing, and also identify added value of a project to maximize its impact. Okay, that's really perfect. That's generally the goal of today's workshop. And without any further delay, I would now ask Sylvan first to present the first project that has already finished. So very good example and already sharing the best practice. Over to you, Sylvan.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, perfect, Sylvan.
Screen mode. Hello, so good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the introductions. Agnieszka, thank you, Mohi, for the support, and Luca for the broader policy view. So I'm going to present the BIMIT project now. So BIMIT finished earlier this year, and it's time. It's a very good opportunity today to show you some of its results, conclusions, and also outcomes. Switch the slide. So I will go through a very brief introduction about the project, look at the status of BIM and EE, which stands for Energy Efficiency Training. We'll then look at the qualification framework that we've developed and training modules as well. And I will conclude with some of the tools the tools that we have also deployed and pushed further thanks to this project. So as an introduction, BIMIT stands for BIM-based EU-wide standardized qualification framework for achieving energy efficiency training. In this project, you can see that we try to close the gap in between the energy efficiency training and the BIM training. Our partnership was quite well balanced in 5 countries, well balanced amongst research and university and research-oriented organizations and training institutes that took an active part, obviously, in the development of this project. So, switching or looking now at the status of BIM and energy efficiency training. So, obviously, our policy context, the existing regulations, the PBD in particular, very much emphasize the need for certifying buildings, developing the energy performance certificates, looking at NZEP and the renovation wave now. So this means that we need to train practitioners, stakeholders. In the meantime, we can see that that digital technologies, let's say ICT, play a major role now, even with the smart readiness indicator that's focused on the equipment and the smartness of buildings. So we manipulate more and more digital information, and that's this specific bridge that we wanted to address within BIMIT. So the skills are also evolving very, very rapidly, very quickly at the moment. And this also is related to all the phases of a building life cycle, from its pre-design, design phase, to the maintenance and the technician roles that are involved, for instance, in the maintenance and demolition. So we have to look at this global value chain. While in the meantime, BIM has been spreading in the construction sector. So we know that there are a lot of skills required for the authoring, the modeling of the construction projects, the construction itself, construction activities, as well as the BIM models that are used for the maintenance, the management of buildings. Together with these models comes the building information modeling, so all the processes that are associated with the coordination of the production of the models. So lean, for instance, lean management applied to design and construction. There is a need to coordinate all these models from the various disciplines. There are also opportunities to extract information from these BIM models to simulate, for instance, the energy behavior of a building during its design, or to enrich the model with information gathered during the maintenance or the operation phase. And we are going more and more towards this digital twin concept that is quite also more and more seen and useful. And these processes requires definitely new skills and competencies from the professionals in order to manage this information flow, in order to address the challenges that are linked to more and more integration in the value chain. And this is something that has to be tackled by white-collar professionals, of course, the ones that produce the models, but it also deals with the competencies associated with the blue-collar workers, the technicians that have to collect, extract information, which is more and more presented in the form of building information mock-ups models. And just a word to say where we come from. This BIMIT initiative was also in the line of a previous one, which was called BIM for VET, funded by the Erasmus Plus program, in which we looked at the core competencies of the BIM actors. So the slide is in French, but you understand that we are dealing with the ones that model the buildings, the buildings, yeah, BIM modeler, BIM coordinator, as well as the BIM manager that coordinate the whole process. And from this very generic project, we've then addressed the question of BIM and energy efficiency competencies. So to summarize, BIMIT dealt with all the stages of a building life cycle and tried to incorporate almost all the actors, or a very large value chain of actors, stakeholders involved in the various activities associated with building energy efficiency. And one of our initial conclusion in BIMIT activities, in the first activities of BIMIT, was to look at the BIM training that you can see on top of this table. And we've concluded that in green, you can see that there are reasonably a lot of BIM training now that are focused on design or contractors, construction for the design to the construction activities and even the handover. So this means training is developing, and we know that it's developing very fast in these domains. But still, there are some disciplines that are not enough addressed by the BIM training. But at the bottom of the table, we've looked in particular at the integrated BIM and energy efficiency training. And that's where we've concluded that there is some room for improvement, and we need to develop training or to improve existing training modules in relation or showcasing how the BIM can be used to improve the energy efficiency. So in order to address this gap, we've developed a qualification framework. So you can see a summary of what we've done. We've identified the disciplines that are involved, especially in our 5 countries, but these are quite generic, as you can see in the value chain. And for each of them, of the main groups, we have developed learning outcomes based on the review of BIM guidelines, energy efficiency regulations, and so on. So we have a quite comprehensive list of learning outcomes that we've turned into especially 2 e-learning trainings. The first one being addressing the BIM for energy efficiency, the basics, bridging this gap in between BIM and energy efficiency trainings. And the second one is more focused on the use of BIM for the calculation of energy performance certificates. Obviously, in this specific e-learning training, we had a general overview and quite general conclusions on the future developments, but we also have some country-specific, obviously, calculation guides for the use of BIM for producing the energy performance certificates. And as I said, supporting these activities, we have been using and deploying this energybim.com platform, in which you can find information on the use cases associating BIM and energy efficiency, as well as the list of trainings that we have surveyed. And another tool deals with the recommendation of learning outcomes. So Maury, if you can launch the video, you will see how we use it to create new training modules.
Yes, sure, Sylvain.
Thank you.
So what we have developed is an application on a tangible table, which is a natural user interface which takes away the mouse and the keyboard and replaces the interface with objects that I can interact with, which has the big advantage that multiple people can simultaneously work with the application. And what we're doing in that sense is preserving the group dynamics. So there's a kind of discussion going on. People can, in real time, test different scenarios, which is different from classical meetings. And what we're doing in this application is we have created a tool that is supposed to give training institutions the required information they need when they're creating a new training. So what does training institutions interest? Well, first of all, if they have a given radius in which they want to give their training, they want to know, first of all, what is my target audience, so which are the people from the construction sector which are in that area? Are there many architects? Are there many engineers? So depending on that, they can decide which kind of training they would like to give. And on the other hand, they're interested in knowing which trainings are already available. So which profiles are covered, which stages of the construction phase are covered by different trainings, and last but not least, which competences are delivered and at which level to the audience.
Okay, show my screen. So here we are back. So you've seen my colleague Nico presenting the latest development of this tool. Next steps are for us to push it forward, and especially within this Instruct project that comes now, and in which we plan to continue developing these trainings and this qualification framework as well. So this is it for BIMIT. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Sylvain. And it was really great to see such results, and a great way to present the results in a very interactive and attractive way. Okay, and so now let's continue with the next project, which is for Sustain, and I would give the floor to Peter Gruyer, if I pronounce it correctly, Gruyeris, to present the project.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Peter. We can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon. So my name is Peter Juric. It's not an easy name to pronounce, so no worries. I'm here to present Train for Sustain project that has just recently been started. So I'm going to be probably quick with displaying you the project objectives, key features and elements. I will talk about the ongoing activities, and I will present some expected outcomes as we looking into the future. This is a short overview of the project. We have started 2020 May. We are 7 partners in the consortium covering 5 European countries, and Gionardo Ltd is the project coordinator, and I'm the project manager of this project. Now, what Train for Sustain had in mind when we proposed this project is that there are so many and so various regional and national qualifications and skills that is really hard to compare them, and really hard for on the demand side to look at who is really competent in what construction work, and would it fit to the job. So we had an idea of developing a competence quality standard that can work kind of as a label in the future, and it can be the basis of a skill registry and a skill passport that can be applied throughout Europe, or in regions or in countries. To make it practical and more tangible, of course, we aim at a market-ready tool. So by the end of the project, with the lots of consultation that we would like to perform during the project implementation, we really want to be this competence quality standard to be really usable for the market players. I will show you how we would like to make it bulletproof, if that's possible, during EU project lifetime. Practical implementation would be in the European Skill Registry. It would be an online tool where this qualification standard could be utilized, and that would be possible to compare the skill levels on a transnational base, which is on a unified European construction market. Probably that would make advantage to some of the companies, some of the project that should be aiming at more sustainable, building a more sustainable building stock. How this competence quality standard would work, it's just a very rough example of how we would like to compare 2 currently uncomparable qualification available on the market. So what are the project key features that we believe we are strongly supporting the market? Of course, we take advantage of existing resources, such as previous European projects in this era, and we would like to build on them. We would like to make we would like to learn from their outcomes, and we would like to build a really practical tool stemming from these initiatives. We would obviously, whatever we would be delivering with this project should be used in the future. So what we thinking is that the current initiatives that are supposed to help building a more sustainable built environment, we take advantage of these initiatives, and during the process, the platform and the tools that we are developing, they will be market ready. With the project committees in 5 European countries, we would like to shape all the project outcomes for the industry, advised by the industrial players. This is why we bring alive local project committees and actively involve regional and other industrial players, which is also a unique item of the project, is that we will, with the help of our Spanish partners, we will do a pilot implementation of the tool and the competence quality standards through let's call it a pilot GPP process, and we can therefore test what is the really what are the bottlenecks of our approach, and what could be still refined when ending the project. What could still help the project implementation is that we plan a workshop agreement with the European standardization body. So we would like to learn how to possibly make the competence quality standards competent with the European legislation, and competent with other standards in this sector. Now, what we are strong in, that both the blue and white collar worker competencies we are studying, and in the consortium we have partners representing all the type of qualifications and training institutions. This is the rough work plan of the project. So basically, what we will do is that there is a baseline study, and there is a parallel development of the European Skill Registry and the other tools that we are planning. I will show you later a brief list of these, and then with the results, we would like to engage with the stakeholders. As I told you, one major form is the local project committees that we would like to focus intensively on them, and creating the demand, we would cooperate with a public sector representative through a pilot GPP process. What are the ongoing activities? As I told, we are running 6 months already. What we are compiling, we are collecting qualification schemes, and we are analyzing them. We are analyzing the finished and ongoing EU projects, so that we can learn from what are the shortcomings, what are the challenges that we are facing, and the competence quality standard is a work in process. Hopefully, by half time of the project, we can publish, and we can publish something for the bigger audience, so that we can gain feedbacks, and we can learn from these feedbacks, and we can finalize this quality standard at the end of the project, by the end of the project. Here is what we expect, what the project can deliver. We are set to develop a European skill registry, an e-inventory of trainings that are actually available throughout Europe. We try to link the skills passports and the skill registry with the matchmaking hub, so that it would help, for instance, procurement processes easier or more effective for the end users. And these are the services that we would like to develop as a market-ready tool by the end of the project, for sure. This is the rough overview of Train for Sustain project. Thanks for listening to us, and we really welcome this initiative, that we get to know about more projects in this field, and hopefully we'll find complementaries with the ongoing initiatives. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter, for this interesting presentation. I already see a lot of links with our project, so for sure we will get in contact with you after our webinar, because I know that you need to leave a bit earlier. So once again, thank you very much, and for sure we'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Before moving to the next presentation, Agnieszka, I would like to tell our audiences that they can write their questions in the question box whenever they had a question. And also, once they do that, I can ask them if they want to be unmuted. And if they confirm, we can unmute them and they can join the discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, Molly. So now it's my turn to present briefly Instruct project. Okay, so I hope that you all can see my presentation.
Yes, Agnieszka, we can see your presentation.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, so it's my pleasure to present you Instruct project, the project that I'm coordinating, representing ASM Market Research and Analysis Center. Okay, so also as the other projects, to start with some basic information about the project we are now currently running. So as you probably all know, we have developed this proposal in response to an EC call about stimulating demand for sustainable energy skills in the construction. And in our project, we have focused on one hand on the evidence-based market on one hand and policy instruments on another hand, development, but also implementation across EU. And of course, this all to increase the demand for energy skills. And what's also our focus is that we are targeting different stakeholders across the construction value chain. So we have started already in June, so there are 5 months behind us. There were a lot of things going on in the holiday period and in this difficult pandemic situation, but we have managed already to do a lot, and In the next slides, I will share you what are our plans and what are we doing currently. So the consortium consists of 8 key partners that developed the proposal from 7 countries, which you can see on the map. So we have the Technical Research Center of Finland. We have also Finnish Association of Civil Engineers. We have also ASM, which I'm representing and which is the coordinator of this project. We have also Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technology, where Sylvian is present and is representing this institute. There is also from UK Cardiff University, R2M Solution from France, Habitech, which is a national center for green building and renewable energy from Italy, and NFect from Bulgaria, where we have also Dragomir today during the workshop, and he will present another project. So apart from these partners, we are supported in our task and especially in our demonstration activities by 2 partners, Metropolia from Finland, who will be supporting demonstration activities in one of our cluster, and Eco Energy also from Bulgaria, that he will be supporting the demonstration in this country. And of course, as it was already mentioned in earlier presentation, that such projects need to consult a lot with the industry. We have also created an advisory board where there are 8 experts currently, and these experts are covering different value chain in the construction sector, and are also covering a bit different countries, which we do not have in the key partnership consortium. That is, for example, Slovenia, the Netherlands, or Belgium. So having all these partners and support on board, we will be then going into realization of what we have planned in the proposal. So I will not speak about the challenge, because we all know what kind of challenges is the European construction facing. However, one sentence about maybe our assumption when we were writing the proposal. So even though there are many great technologies, energy efficient technologies on the market, we have come to the conclusion that their potential and their effectiveness of the implementation would be much more higher if of course there were successful training initiatives and also supporting policy instruments. And for this reason, we have concentrated in our proposal on educational activities, trainings, on informative programs, and also on some cooperation schemes for different type of stakeholders in the construction sector. And all of this, of course, to maximize and increase the demand for sustainable energy skills in the construction. So what is the main goal of our project? So we would like, of course, to act on market level, and we would like to provide some set of services which will be serving a different kind of stakeholders along the value chain, and which will also pave the way to legislative changes. And this will be all put into an operational framework, so everybody knows who are the services, and for what purpose, of course. The main outputs that we will obtain from our project. So first of all, we'll concentrate on gathering, and this is happening now, gathering data proving correlation between skills, education, and energy performance and quality, because it turned out that it is really an effective tool to increase the demand for such skills and encourage a lot of stakeholders in the construction value chain to pay more attention to this aspect. Then we will develop and also adapt some tools to facilitate the recognition of energy skills and qualifications. And on top of that, which is a very important part, and it is also recognized in also other projects, is the supporting of public authorities and development of legislative frameworks. So these are our key outputs. In terms of the solutions that we will develop is first of all the Sustainable Energy Skills Passport Register. So there is very good link already with the earlier project that has been presented. We will also tackle some mobile applications facilitating the comparison of workers, skills and qualifications. We will support also new legislative frameworks and also public procurement practices, because there will be a research part on that. And what's also important and targeting also different type of stakeholders along the value chain is that we will prepare and deploy also some initiatives for home and building owners, and also new partnerships with producers and retailers. So a brief overview of our concept. So as also the other project has mentioned, we have started, and the first steps that we've done was to mobilize the construction industry, as we required a lot of input, data and information, and especially on the best practices from the construction sector. So we have been involved in many review and consultations to engage the sector and to obtain the best practices. And they related to correlation between the training and energy efficiency to get the best practice, and so then we would be able to show them to the industry. This will then be as an input to the tools and instruments development, which we then will test on our 8 pilot demonstrations across 7 European countries, which I will talk a bit later about. And of course, as in other projects, the replication and exploitation is a very crucial aspect of these projects. And so we will tackle this from the early beginning of the project and have a lot of workshops and a lot of exchange of know-how internally, but also externally on how to use the results further on. These are our demonstrations. As I mentioned, so we will cover the demonstrations in many European regions, and they will cover such topics as BIM for energy efficiency, energy skills certifications. There will be demonstration of initiatives for building owners. There will be also partnerships implementation with producers, retailers and contractors. This will happen in Poland. Also, we will tackle in Poland the energy skills recognition and policy making. We'll have also a demo which is about initiatives for building and homeowners, also in Italy, and also in Bulgaria, 2 demos concentrating on engaging stakeholders and developing capacity for supply of continuing qualification. So these are our demos, and this is our really focus in our project, that what we develop, we need to test it, we need to see how it works, and then provide based on this outcomes improvements to the results that we have achieved. Yes, I will not talk about the work plan because I mainly discuss it during the presentation of the concept. But as the presentation will be shared, I just wanted to so everybody is aware of what we are doing and about the timing, so we could then share more in detail when we have a bit more time what we could do together. And currently we are finishing with the first task, which is about eliciting requirements to increase the demand for skills in energy efficiency. And we have done a lot of desk research, a lot of in-depth interviews in many European countries with the experts. We have also done an online survey with the whole construction industry, and we are now gathering all, analyzing it, and we will be presenting this during an online workshop, which will take place this Friday. And the goal of this workshop, this is also a very short workshop, but the goal is during the first part to present what we have done, and then during the next hour to hear the feedback from the participants, from the experts, whether we have done a good job generally, or whether there are some aspects that we need to still improve, tackle, and so on. So this information has been already shared with a lot of you, but if anybody is interested, please contact either me or my colleague Carla Lapid from Cardiff University, who is organizing this event. So thank you very much for your attention. Yeah, and yeah, this is it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agnieszka. So we may move to the next speaker at this time. But before doing so, I would like to tell our audiences that we have handouts under the tab called Handouts or Documents, which are mostly brochures and handouts and posters from a few of the projects that our speakers provided for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mohi. So now let's move to next presentation, which is bus leak, and may I ask Jan to present his project and the activities.
Sure, you may. Do you hear me correctly? And
Yes.
is my
Yes,
screen
yeah.
visible?
Yes.
Thank you. I would like to do a short introduction of bus leak. And before starting that, I am inviting everybody to join the league, because the more people are in the league, the better. Within Bus League, we are already on the move. We are consisting of a consortium of quite experienced construction skills partners. And within our Build Up Skills bus, we are traveling towards sustaining the built environment. And we are using digital tools for that, for example, the Build Up Skills Advisor. And the goal is that the installation, building companies, and all other companies involved in sustaining the built environment are going to pass us. So we are coming up to speed, but the most important is that the building sector is coming up to speed. The objectives of Bus League are the following. We are going to provide a recognition of energy skills, and that build upon qualifications in the construction sector. We are going to work on awareness, and we want to influence legislative changes that will stimulate and advance the demand for energy skills. And we want to upskill the use of successful training methods and techniques. Then, and that's quite special for Bus League, we want to demonstrate the effectiveness of Bus League interventions, because we are targeting to use a mix of training methods, and we really would like to learn how effective, for example, mobile learning is, and how we can blend mobile learning with learning on the job and things like that. And last but not least, we would like to expand at national levels and at the European level. We are going to do that in a number of work packages. The first work packages are enabling the recognition of energy skills. There we are currently working on the anthropological research we are doing to find out what are the expectations of the stakeholders in play. Then we go to actions on stimulation of market demand, focusing on skills-based procurement, financing, and cooperation with do-it-yourself and hardware stores. And then in the implementation stage, we will compile content for upskilling, do the actual upskilling, prove the practical skills, and also implement digital applications for recognition of skills. And it's very nice to see that many other projects are also aiming on doing that. So I think there are a lot of opportunities to cooperate. As a layer under it, we are monitoring, learning, and exchanging. And that's done both on the national level. So each country involved has a national implementation plan with national actors, with national stakeholders, and so on. But as a whole consortium, we also have an internal learning community and a group of stakeholders around us to stimulate, to learn, and to exchange. A short summary of the impact indicators, quite ambitious, but without ambition, you will come nowhere. So we have started and we will see how high we can jump. One of the main actions will be finding the balance between push and pull. Most of the build-up skills projects till today are quite push-oriented because a lot of things needed to be arranged in order to implement trainings in order to sustain the built environment. And we are trying to find a balance between the stimulation of demand, and to stimulate demand, we will use the recognition of energy skills in combination with legislative changes, procurement and financing mechanisms. And on the other hand, if the demand is going up, we will have to fill it in with qualified workforce, because if the demand is rising, then the people active in the field have to have the real answers on the questions the market is going to ask them. And there also the recognition of energy skills comes in as a mean, together with practical effective upskilling, in order to fill in the stimulated demand and prove its effectiveness. This together will be the main working mechanism, and we hope to have a lot of fun on the balancing act. We are doing that with 7 countries involved and also 7 networks involved. This is a small overview of the consortium. And one of the invitations I have is let us collaborate and co-create on the recognition of energy skills, because the more harmonized results we can deliver, the better the impact will be. We want to cooperate on qualifications and the development of unit of learning outcomes. We see that a lot of projects are wrestling with that topic, and we are very happy and keen to learn from each other. Then on the practical upskilling means, how can you actually engage blue-collar workers in upskilling activities? And another thing is on the translation of at national level available upskilling to make them available at European level. For example, in the Build Up Skills app, we have a lot of e-learning modules available in Dutch, and we are looking forward to cooperate to translate e-learning modules from Dutch to other languages. And co-creation of new e-learning content, because the energy transition is an ongoing process. New technologies are popping up, so also new e-learning content needs to be developed, and it goes a lot smoother if we can co-create on that. And then last but not least, the slide with all the rest of the information, the logo. I invite you to install the Build Up Skills Advisor app, because I think it's quite a nice tool to reach on the European level a quite big impact. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jan, for your presentation. I can already say that I'm already on your league bus, and I hope every other projects will also jump on, so we can really have a lot of fun while exchanging the know-how and the experience that we will be gathering. So now let's continue. NZEP Roadshow. Dragomir, please share your screen and present your project.
Yep, sure. And good afternoon, everybody. I hope that my slides are already visible. And
Yes, Dragomir.
We can hear and see each other. All right, so I'm starting with the presentation, but the first thing that I want to share with you is that I really trust that these words that will come from me will resonate excellently with what Jan just mentioned. We are extremely happy to be partners in both in Instruct and Bus League, and we hope that the activities that we plan under the NZEP roadshow that we coordinate will really contribute to fruitful exchange between the three projects and beyond, hopefully. So the NZEP roadshow, well, what do we put under that? There's just one simple statement that we want to send to everybody, and this is that there will be no demand for sustainable energy skills if there is no demand for sustainable buildings. So we would like to influence, to have an impact on the demand on the market demand for sustainable buildings, and relate that to the importance of the skills for reaching the targets that we set for ourselves. What would come from this presentation, what to expect? I will share just a few words about the legacy that we have, and it's really important to remind ourselves that we are not starting from the beginning. Some words about the goals and objectives, what we do in more specific terms, and of course a hint into communication and dissemination, because we really have to update ourselves regularly about what is going on. So we've been extremely lucky to be involved in the Build Up Skills initiative since 2011. So the talk started with the EPBD in 2010. We were really quick to understand that the requirements for nearly zero energy building require a tight change of skills and knowledge regarding the construction in general. So in Pillar 1 and Pillar 2, we focused on improving the state educational standards and training a lot of trainers, developing new programs in Bulgaria and in the region of Central and Eastern Europe, where we were quite active. And then we moved to developing new training facilities. And we were very happy that under Train to NZEP, we actually executed hundreds of training. We reach more than 4,000 people, and we established a very good network also with producers and distributors of NZEP suitable products, materials, technologies, which we were able to use further on into developing of our activities in the area. Then we moved to the retrofitting of the building stocks. That's obviously the issue that we are facing all around Europe, and we were very happy to implement a specialized training content all around the educational system in the evolved country and add new countries to our already quite good network in Central and Eastern Europe, going a little bit south and a little bit west, involving Italy, Greece, and Croatia. And then we're coming to the NZEP approach. So after these 10 years, we have a really solid base that we can use in order to stimulate mass training wave regarding sustainability in the construction sector. But it's not happening actually. And it's not happening because our markets are still driven by the lowest price. We still don't have end user requests for quality building, for sustainable, efficient building. This is what we want to change here in the NZEP approach, and we want to go places. We want to go local, to talk to people, to convince them, to give them what they need in terms of information, in terms of emotions, if you wish, in order to make quality buildings a part of their personal values and lifestyles. This is where we want to move. Who are we actually? So we're working in Bulgaria together with the Bulgarian Construction Chamber, and we have great partners from Romania, which is the NZEP cluster, Pro-NZEP, There we have the University of Zagreb, we have Zephyr from Italy, and the Hellenic Passive House Institute. All of these are partners with proven capacity and experience, and I hope it will show in the beginning. What we have set as objectives: yes, we want to still improve the supply of trainings, and we want to approach a certain number of construction specialists. But one thing that we really want to do is to improve the reputation of the construction sector, of the construction profession among young people. And this can only be done by closely relating it to, first of all, modern environmental responsible lifestyles, and then to the new technologies, to the ICT technologies. And here I trust that we can have really good exchange with COVN and Instruct, so related to the implementation of BIM technologies into the training practice. But what is most important, as I already mentioned several times, is to raise the interest in new quality buildings. And in order to do that, we plan really lots of interactive activities that can make the difference for very different or various stakeholders groups. The first activity that has already completed, actually it's not an expected result, it's a result that's already there, is a very detailed stakeholders mapping, where we want to identify the most valid arguments and the best communication channels for each target group, and obviously develop a market strategy and action plans for each involved country. Despite the COVID situation, we're still managing and going through this. Then we want to do mobile demo units. They will be the center of the NZEP days that we plan to conduct around the countries, and we already have a lot of experience in that, coming through Zephyr, who developed an excellent project called Biosphere, and having already prototypes for that kind of experience. And we want to simplify the idea of NZEP, to streamline it for both young and elderly people via games, via really engaging interaction that would be demonstrated both through the events that we are organizing and through the communication channels that we will be conducting. So at the end of the day, we want to conduct NZEP days, at least 3 per country, but the fact is that we are already planning for between 7 and 10 NZEP weeks or NZEP days in each of the involved countries. So we are going large scale, really. Then what is important, and what are the conclusions of that? Our whole experience brings us to the idea that it's not going to happen without personal engagement. So we really engage lots of experts from our teams, but lots of external experts to participate as speakers, as lecturers, as every kind of role within our projects. And we have already started with engaging the different providers of know-hows and technologies in the area, and I really trust that this would be a success. We have already started with development of our communication channel, so here it is where you can follow us and learn about our new products, and also about the schedule of the NZEP days that we are starting from next year, hopefully from April and May. Greece would be the first country that would set the pace, and expect great things there as well because of the new policy programs that are running. And with this, I would like to thank you for your attention. We are the coordinators. You can contact us at any time and ask for further details. And yeah, I really trust that we are in a very good position for making synergies and materializing on all the good relations that we have between ourselves. So thank you for your attention, and I hope the future bodes for better.
Thank you very much, Dragomir. I see that there's a lot of opportunity and potential, so we could maximize, the impact of working together and of maximizing the impact of our project. So yeah, thank you very much. And now going to the last but not least, of course, project HP for All. Simus, if you can take the lead now.
Thank you very much. and just share my screen. So hopefully you can see my slides.
Yes.
Seamus Hoyne is my name, and I know you've all had a very long day, so I will try to keep the time. So I'm the project coordinator for the HP for All project, and HP for All stands in short for heat pumps for all, and particularly the skills focused on the heat pump sector. So while many of our previous presenters have talked around construction skills and skills in the broad building sector and sustainable energy sector, we're focused particularly on heat pumps and the heat pump value chain. So ultimately our overall aim of the project, which has just started in September of this year, and is 30 months in duration, is to enhance, develop and promote the skills of high quality heat pump installations, both within residential and non-residential buildings, and to deliver on Europe's ambition to be kind of a leader in the sustainable energy and climate action agenda. So critically, I suppose the market across Europe has shown that the quantum of installations of heat pumps is growing and growing exponentially. And you can see that in this graph, where since 2015, we've had double-digit growth in the heat pump market. This is driven by significant policy changes across Europe, where electrification of heat in particular is a significant ambition across many member states. And also we have increasing demands for cooling, so we need particular heat pump technologies. So building on this, it's critical that we have the appropriate skills along the supply chain to make sure that these heat pumps are designed correctly, installed correctly, commissioned, and then operated and maintained properly. And Heat Pump for All seeks to address that particular challenge. So achieving that, we have set a number of key objectives. So the first is similar to many of the broad objectives of previous presentations, where it's looking at a skills and competency framework, but we are focused particularly on the heat pump value chain. So looking at people who are involved in design of systems, in new build or retrofit, all the way right through to craftspeople and construction workers who are in the installation of systems. We particularly want to then dedicate resources to increasing the skills of construction workers, and we'll do that to a number of pilot initiatives in the partner countries, which I'll explain in a moment. We also want to focus on the pull from the market, so engaging with end users, building owners and clients to ensure that they are able to demand high quality solutions and push the demand for skilled workers. And then obviously to replicate what we learn in our project across Europe, within our national countries, our partner countries, and then across Europe. Critically, we aim to achieve significant improvement in the energy performance of heat pumps, and this can be is building on experience that we've had in Ireland in particular with heat pumps, where we've looked at optimization of heat pumps and we've improved the performance of heat pumps by approximately 10%, and this has simply been done by improving and recommissioning systems. So it wasn't any highly sophisticated technological solutions, but more improvements in the sizing and installation of systems. So we are confident that we can replicate that type of improvements across Europe. That will drive additional renewable energy improvements, and furthermore, we get to realize significant CO2 savings. We're targeting to train 400 people across our pilot regions, and we will also develop a benchmarking tool and a knowledge hub on heat pumps for both the workers along the supply chain, but also the end users. Structured around a number of core work packages, we can see that work package 2, 3, 4 and 5 are the core activities of our project, and particularly work on work package 2 and 4 has commenced in earnest since September. So in work package 2, we're focusing on learning from best practice in the market and particularly in the renewable heating market, what has happened already, what resources and initiatives are out there to stimulate sustainable energy skills in the heat pump supply chain, and then to identify gaps which we need to address through the HP for All project. Within work package 3, we will focus particularly on the trainers and working with industry, develop our competency framework, and that will be tested in work package 5 in our pilot regions. And we've already started to engage with and identify potential end users that will inform us on what knowledge gaps they have in terms of heat pumps and the potential application in their building types and typologies. And that will involve both surveys and engagement, and we will develop both the benchmarking tool and our knowledge hub within that work package. And supporting all of those, then we will move towards replication. Within work package 5, we will pilot a range of actions in 3 countries, so in Ireland, in Austria, and in Spain. And the ambition there is to provide direct training and capacity building, but also test the knowledge hub, the benchmarking tool, and a range of other initiatives bespoke to each country, looking at both residential, non-residential, private and public buildings, both for new build and for retrofit. And critically, we're also looking to the future and new innovative technologies and systems, including hybrid heat pump solutions, new refrigerants for heat pumps with low global warming potential, and integration with smart technology and smart grid. So our core target groups that we've engaged with already, I've mentioned in our experts. So we will be looking to engage with experts along the value chain, so suppliers, designers, installers, researchers, targeting trainers and educators, both from formal and informal settings, from industry and from educational organizations, our end users and building owners, so including looking at the issue of procurement, and ultimately through our replication activities to engage specifically with policymakers, both at the local, regional, national and EU level, to ensure they learn from what we have learned in the project, but also to look at what measures could be taken through policy actions to influence the heat pump market and the demand for high quality skills. So here are some of the numbers in terms of our overall ambitions. You'll see the kind of number of countries we're reviewing for our state of art review, all the way down through our implementation plans, where we will work with a wide range of people in delivering training, building up capacity, running awareness campaigns, etc. And a huge network developed through our partnership during the duration of the project. Our partnership represents a wide range of expertise. So critically, the European Heat Pump Association is involved. So we have direct connections with the entire heat pump market, manufacturers across Europe, and a lot of data and reach out to experts in that field. CTA from Catalonia and Spain have a lot of expertise and work in public-private arrangements and will be one of our pilot regions. LIT, as a coordinator, we have a lot of expertise in research and development relevant to heat pumps, and also provide a lot of education and training. And also in Ireland, we have the International Energy Research Centre, IERC, who will work specifically in work package 2, but also on development of our benchmarking tool. From Italy, RENA, as a highly innovative and expert engineering consultancy, will provide specific input on the innovative technologies and also input across all of our other work packages. In Upper Austria, we have ESV, who are our other pilot region. Again, Upper Austria very well known for biomass heating, and now heat pumps are emerging as a particular growth area. And finally, sustainable innovations are supporting our dissemination communication activities. So that's a very brief overview of our project. As I say, it has just commenced. We are very excited about the project and the opportunities to also collaborate with many of the other projects that have been presented before me. I think there are significant opportunities for that collaboration. If anybody would like further information, you can feel free to contact me directly at this information. And also you can follow the project through LinkedIn and Twitter. Our website is currently under development, but will be available very soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Seamus, for the presentation. It's great that we will that you are willing to collaborate further in the other projects that were presented, and I think that at the end of the day we will identify some next steps that we could start, sharing the know-how and exchanging the information that each project will generate. Okay, so this was the last presentation, last project presentation. So we've heard 6 projects presenting, and as I already said, there's a great potential and opportunity to use and to increase the impact of the activities of all the tasks that we will be implementing. So now we will go into the question and answer session. I see that there is one question already. So we can maybe...
Sorry, Agnieszka, yeah. Before moving to the question and answer, would you like to launch the rest of the polls? We have 2 more polls, and then we can move to Lisa, and I can unmute her so she can ask directly.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. So if you could just launch the next poll. So the next question was just to get your opinion on the major challenge in which is the major challenge in increasing energy skills recognition in the construction sector. So if you could just take a few seconds, read it and mark the major challenge in your opinion. Okay, if you can, Mohi, show us the results.
Maybe a few more seconds.
Okay.
Our audience has just started to vote.
Okay. It would be really interesting to see your opinion on that. I mean, different projects are tackling, of course, these issues and have some solutions to tackle those challenges, but it's always good to know what is the major challenge. We have also finalized a questionnaire on the challenges increasing energy skills recognition in Instruct. Have results which will be shared during the webinar, which I talked about. But yeah, this is another point of view and knowledge sharing, opinion sharing.
So yeah, I'd like to close the poll. We had more than 60% participation. And now, should I share the results, Agnieszka?
Yes, please. I think everybody is. Okay, thank you very much. So we see that lack of access to useful information and best practice guides is the most popular answer, but the other one's also very important. And well, yeah, and I think all the projects are tackling this first challenge because there is a lack of information in the construction sector. And this is what I already said during my presentation, that this best practice sharing and to relevant stakeholders is very important, and showing them on real case examples what they could achieve. It's really, really crucial. Okay, thank you very much. You can now close this this poll, and now if you can, Mohi, go to the question part.
We have one more poll, Agnieszka. What kind of joint activities are possible?
Yeah, it could be done later.
Okay. So we move to the questions, and I'd like to unmute one of our attendees who wants to ask a question. Hello, Lisa.
Yes, thank you so much. So I have a question for Peter and Sylvain regarding energy performance, operational energy performance assessments of buildings, whether you have any experience designing tools or testing tools to do operational performance assessment. I believe Peter mentioned specifically the new levels framework. So I'm curious whether either of you might recommend any tools that are incorporating the levels framework. I know there's at least one life cycle assessment tool that is, but any training or insights you can offer would be very helpful.
Okay, Sylvain, if you could take the lead, because Peter, as I mentioned before, had to leave earlier, so you are the one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my apologies.
No problem. We'll anyway contact Peter, and we can contact each other, and then.
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Sylvain, you are muted.
Here it is. Sorry. Yeah, I was looking for Peter. Indeed, as in BMIT, we've looked. I mean, there are some interesting trials that we have done that might interest you when it comes to using building information models for the energy performance simulation. And we've looked at several workflows using the information provided from BIM models, let's say, to serve as input for the building energy modeling software. And yeah, this is related. But then usually at the operation stage, you need calibration of the models. And that's something we've not directly touched, I mean, within BMIT. And this training and the qualification I've been mentioning is more looking at the design phase at the moment, at least at the moment. But obviously, this is part of the overall qualification framework. And our activity mainly looked at the various software systems that are part of these workflows, BIM to BEM. We called it BIM to BEM workflows. There are some standards, but usually the software hardly implemented, I mean, correctly in most of the cases, and that's what we have wanted to point out. And this is valid also for the operation phase. And this definitely requires skills when it comes to IFC import and export, or GPXML for the building energy modeling software. And that's the point, but I mean, I don't have specific software to mention here.
So do I understand correctly? You are working on some methods for assessing the operational use of buildings in addition to the modeling exercises to measure the real world, so to speak, use?
Yeah, that's what I meant by calibration of building energy models.
Okay.
That's what but even if, I mean, you can do it in most of the software systems, in adding additional manually consumption information data.
Yes.
This remains, I mean, quite an engineering work supported by software, but I do not see a very easy to use software so far that can provide this kind of features.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Sylvain. Are there any other questions from the audience? If yes, please raise a hand or just type the question into the chat. While maybe waiting for the next questions, we will launch another question poll with relates to the joint activities that we could perform in order to maximize the impact of the projects. So this is with regards, of course, the projects that have been presented, but also with regards some other activities of other participants in this area that we could do together in order to maximize the impact, share the information, disseminate the results, and so on. So please, please select the answer that you seem most appropriate and that you would be willing to take on. Okay, Mohi, can we already show the results?
Yes, sure. Here are the results.
Thank you very much. So the majority voted for joint meetings, content-related meetings, and exchange of know-how, which is really, really good. The second one was joint dissemination and joint exploitation also. So yeah, thank you very much, Mohi. You can close the poll. Yeah, this was generally what we want to achieve, and by networking with other projects. So from my experience, there are 3 levels of networking and of exchanging information between such projects, and of course other projects outside this Horizon 2020 project. And on one hand, of course, we can have some basic joint dissemination activities, which is already very valuable. But as the projects are so interconnected, they all relate to construction, to the skills. They are all, of course, focused on different aspects, but there are a lot of opportunities to maximize the impact. So what we aim to add is to, in the future, organize some joint meetings so we could share our experience, especially share the lessons learned, because we already come across some obstacles in the project in Instruct, and it would be very, very good if we could, share, each of the project could share them and could let other projects know how they have handled this situation, this challenge, and we could then maybe quicker learn each other and make quicker progress and in a more effective way. So this is the second level, and of course the third level, which is the most difficult one, but we also would like to aim at this, is the joint exploitation, because there are many tools, instruments, which could be implemented also in other countries. Other partners from other projects could be interested in that. So we would like to also make an effort and try to see during the next months what are the joint exploitation possibility in the projects that were presented, but also among other activities and other projects that are in the focus of our workshop. Okay, so the last poll is about, because this is of course not an exhaustive list of what we could do together. If you can just, Mohi, launch the last poll, but this is in the chat form. So if you could think of any other activities that we could do together in order to increase the impact, please let us know in the chat, so we could also make use of it, and while preparing some minutes of our today webinar, we could include them also.
Sorry, Agnieszka, I think there's a problem. I cannot launch it, but I think it will be perfect if our attendees can just type it in the box, the chat box, and then we can collect it from there.
Perfect. Yes. So please do publish your ideas on what we could do more to boost the impact of these activities and other activities with skills recognition and increasing demand for the energy skills in the construction sector. Okay, so we are a bit late with the agenda. Can I, Mohi, just show one slide as a summary of our, as I see there are no further questions from the audience. Can you make me presenter so I can share my screen? Perfect, thank you.
All yours, Agnieszka.
Thank you. Okay, hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so just so we go out of this meeting with some action points which we could then further on take and start to implement. I have prepared some next steps action list, so we could start discussing our joint activities. So first off, if you all agree, especially this is to the panelists, but also as I mentioned, this is not completely, limited to the panelists and to the project presented, but also to the other these projects that are in the field. So if you are interested, please send us an email and we could set up a mailing list, which would then be all about networking and proposing some action lists to work together on different results. Then another possibility is with the projects that were presented today, there is possibility to have a joint publication from this webinar on our project and results that we aim to achieve, which will be in open access journal. So if you agree, then also please let us know and we will also prepare such first joint publication. Then, as already Luca and Angelina from EASME mentioned, there is this Build Up Skills European Exchange initiative and event, which takes place online on 9th and 10th of December. So we will also have there the possibility to continue our discussion more in detail. And then I also, with the partners that agreed to network after this webinar, we will set up another meeting, another online meeting probably because of the situation, and we will take us next step further and try to discuss more contents, that lessons learned, what we are doing, what we have problems with, where we could help each other, and so on. Yeah. And of course, we will start with some maybe joint dissemination, if you all agree, activities. We could share our timetables and the activities we have already seen. But of course, there are a lot of nice, interesting projects, so it will be good to share the timetable and the activities from each of the projects. We can also share our information on the project websites and our social channels, just to spread the word about what we are doing, what the projects are doing. Yeah, and the idea is, as we have this event, European Commission event in December, the idea is to have another wrap-up meeting in January, February, so we could discuss further on. So these are generally what we propose to do in order, to start working together and start trying to figure out how we can help each other and how we can maximize the impact from our project, as we know that the construction sector is very demanding. It's very difficult to engage the stakeholders, so a joint effort will be really and for sure very, very valuable. Okay, so this is it from my side. I would like to give now the floor to Luca and Angelina now from EASME, who could close this meeting and say a few words as a last concluding statement.
Thank you very much, Agnieszka. So, thank you again to the organizers, and I would also really warm thank to the project coordinators of the projects we heard from today. And I can name them all: BMeet, Train for Sustain, Instruct, Bus League, and ZEP Roadshow, and HP4 also. Thank you very much for your very good presentations. I'd like just to wrap up and share some trends that I could observe, some good news, I would say, and also some expectations from my agency. Well, I can see really at least 4 pieces of good news that we can see that definitely projects are learning and building on the results of previous projects from the Build Up Skills program, and also from other EU and national programs. So this is absolutely very important. We have also seen that these projects are producing practical and innovative tools, addressing specific challenges and specific gaps. Also very important is that there is collaboration with the industry. Sometimes also the industry is directly involved to develop those tools for the industry. We see really a trend towards boosting not only the supply but also the demand for skilled workers, both white and blue collars, and so this is extremely important for the future of the building sector. So what was mentioned, we see both push and pull measures. And last but not least, we also see a renewed focus on supporting public authorities, which is absolutely important. We do expect really changes happening on the ground, including in terms of legislation and new enabling public procurement procedures. From my agency's point of view, the EASME, I would like just to say that we intend to continue working together with actors on the ground and to facilitating these types of exchanges, starting from the meeting that it was again mentioned on the 9th and 10th of December, which will take place online. We are confident that this event has helped identify synergies between projects that can so help support further work between them. So as they produce results, so not only learning past experience but also learning from actual changes on the ground as they happen. It was also mentioned by one of the speakers, ideally the possibility to co-create. That would be something really important. From our side, we also have platforms. We put at disposal platforms and tools. I can mention the Build Up portal, which is the energy efficiency and renewable energy in buildings reference portal in Europe, where we encourage not only partners working on projects to publish posts and exchange information and disseminate results, but also other partners working on the ground to keep themselves informed about the developments as they happen. So we really look forward to working with you, to strengthening this cooperation with the actors and other projects. Because the decarbonization of the building sector by mid-century really requires this sort of effort, more skilled workers, a new generation of job profiles, but also a clear enabling framework to boost the demand. So we really look forward to making these changes happen on the ground together with you. So thank you very much again for your attention, and we also remain available for any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Luca. We really appreciate your comments and your feedback, and we also look forward to the cooperation with you and also with the other projects. Okay, so we have also one request coming from Lisa. Lisa is proposing to set up a LinkedIn group so we could further on exchange the know-how and ideas between the projects and between also other participants interested in this field. So I think this is really a good thing, and of course this will be discussed among the project partners, and then we will of course communicate it to all the participants and invite all or interested parties. So thank you very much, Lisa, for this proposal and for your willingness to share the know-how and exchange of ideas. Okay, so if there are no any other questions, I would like once again thank all of you for presentations. Thank you, Luca, for being here with us, and thank you all participants and all the speakers for the presentation. Yeah, we will for sure continue communication. This was our just first meeting to get to know each other and to see who is doing. So we will for sure continue our communication. But for now, thank you very much, and I look forward to cooperating with you all. And I wish you a very pleasant evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.